gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over the PSA Krink. Let's get crinky. Mike, long time no see.
Admin, how's YouTube life treating you?
Can't complain.
Yeah, thought you were out of this game, brother.
I can complain a little bit.
Well, I've got an LIA asset that got nabbed up in Arizonabijon and needs rescuing. All the information, the tickets, are in the briefcase, and you'll get paid out in Dogecoin when it's complete.
That's what I like about you, Mike. Always straight to the point.
About the money.
You're in a coma, wake up. Your family loves you. The only way to get out is to like and subscribe. You're in a coma, wake up. Your only exit option is to like and subscribe. Please, your family misses you. Now, what is my relationship to PSA? Well, I am a big fan of what they are doing. I like a lot of the guns they're coming out with. And I remember at SHOT Shows in years past that I was enamored with the fun stuff they're coming out with. There was just some stuff in general in the firearms industry that I was kind of bored with until PSA started teasing all these cool projects. And the PSA Krink, one of the cool projects that they were teasing, especially this year. So I was excited to get it on the channel. Now, I also have an affiliate link with them. They are also the ammo sponsor of the channel, but there was no exchange of money for getting this on the channel. And me liking them does not guarantee a good or bad review because I'll definitely shit on this gun with some aspects. The TLDR of the video is, gun is neat, save your money for a real Krink. That's pretty much, I guess that's pretty much it, the TLDR. But anyway, let's dive deeper in. Quick history lesson, origins of the Krink. Soviets want to make a shorter version of the AK-74. Through their trials and tribulations, they come up with the AKS-74U. Krinkov, the Shrinkov. There's gonna be a bunch of different variations of all the Soviet block guns. Kind of like how with ARs, we have a bunch of different variations, like Kar-15s, Mark 18s, M16s, M16A2s, M16A3, like a bunch of different stuff, right? As we know it today, the short AK, modeled after the AK-74U, often gets called the Krink. Where do we get the name Krink from? Well, Mujahideen captured a guy named Krinkov that had one of these on him. There's the gun shop back in the, I think it was the 80s or 90s, named Krinks. Then there's the Pashtun translation for how they would call different Kalashnikovs. I just definitely know there's a bunch of different ways to call it, but the name Krink definitely stuck with what we got today. And then PSA rolled out with their version of what would be the AKS-74U. So far, only chambered in 5.56. I believe they're looking to do 5.45 and 7.62 by 39. 7.62 by 39 could be a little bit more Draco vibey, but yet again, it goes back to that's technically a much more different variation than what would be the Krink, but they're very much in the same family. Sometimes it's confusing. The true AK autists, which are very particular about everything AK, it's their prerogative, you know. There's trained guys, there's plain guys, and there's the AK autist army, so watch out for those guys and where you step. They would definitely say there's much differences involved, but for a dummy like me, I know this as the PSA Krink, and I'm happy to get one on the channel. This feels like the right step in the right direction as far as American AK manufacturing is concerned. Is it going to be a perfect AK? Is it going to be the best AK out there? No, absolutely not. In my head, I think it's a very affordable rifle that's a very fun gun. As far as practicality goes, I don't think it's the most practical gun. We definitely saw this in using it. It feels like a very weird PDW in that regards. A lot of the accuracy we were finding just isn't there. 5.56 in such a short barrel is not optimal for what this is. Huh, Alex is pretty cool. Speaks Japanese. All right, so now we're gonna do a very cold start zeroing. We have, dude, of course, plane shows up right when we start. It's the Arizonabijon Air Force, buzzing my location. So we're gonna do a very fresh grouping test. I have 3 different ammos we're gonna use. We have 62 grain FMJ, 55 grain FMJ, 77 grain OTMs, all from AAC, ammo sponsor of the channel. Big thank you to those guys. So 5 rounds for each target. Now this is after only 1 mag to the gun. We did some zeroing and I was having some struggle busting on the zero. So there's only 1 mag to the gun through me so far. I don't know what they did with the gun prior, make sure it was testing to work it or whatever, but we're gonna do at 100 yards, a rough 100, seeing the grouping on the 3 different squares that we have downrange. And I'm gonna try and shoot the other camera for fun.
Huh?
That was a joke, Colton, I'm sorry. Bad joke. Wow, this guy's not funny. He's not funny at all. Okay, disclaimer, also before I rip it, I may be the problem here, and my shooting platform is also very cattywampus, one might say. Up first should be the 62 grain. That's concerning. That should have been 5 each. Let's go check out the results. We're off to a great start, boys. All right, boys, round 2 of the FUBAR. We have the correct mag this time. I grabbed the wrong mag last time. We're gonna go for the top 3 targets. You may see the bloopers live. Okay, going middle. Going right. Cool. That's the mag I wanted. 5, 5, and 5. Let's go check out those results. The managerial out, wait, wrong channel. What a silly goose. Now these are some results. Okay, not great, definitely not great, but what to be expected of a short barrel and a bad zero. So it looks like a lot of this stuff is favoring to the left. My guess is that the 62 grains may have been more off paper. Maybe these are the 55 grain, and these belong to the 77 grain. I may just try a quick zero adjustment, crank a little bit more right, because that's pretty bad. Well, I guess it's part of the testing. You're seeing it live, folks. Like again, another factor could just be my terrible shooting and my bad eyesight. I don't know why I chose to be a gun YouTuber. What an idiot. All right. So with a fresh barrel, we did 100 yards, rough grouping, and this looks very rough. I don't have doubts of getting this thing on a silhouette. I'm starting to have doubts of making very pinpoint shots with this at 100 yards. I'm having my doubts. Maybe I had a better optic on here besides a red dot. I could probably pull it off, but as far as hitting the silhouette, feel good. As far as hitting like the credit card box with this now, I'm like getting a little worried. So now what we're gonna do is burn it down. So it begins. The goal is to get to 500 rounds. That's always the usual quasi break-in point that I've heard. So we're gonna do a lot of shooting, get the round count up to 500. We'll bring it back and do another grouping test. Have you ever Googled your name and you saw the results? Buddy, they're not administrative. That's why we gotta thank today's sponsor, Aura. There are these people called data brokers, and they sell your information to a bunch of other places. Your full name, your email address, your house, your health records may all be out there to be used against you. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits an opt-out request. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use the information to help them access my sensitive information. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. Best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. Peace of mind is important, and I value my privacy, and I know you value yours. That's why you should head over to aura.com/administrative, and you can start your 2-week free trial with them today. Link for them will be in the description down below that you can use to start out with Aura. Big thank you to them for sponsoring the video. All right, that should get us close to 500. All right, gentlemen, we have burnt through 500 rounds through sheer aggression and will. Now we are going to do another grouping at 100. See how bad I can be this time. Going right, left, center. something felt off with the numbers of the round count, but we shall persevere. Let's go check out those results. The administrative results. All right, results are far worse. Not looking so hot. So we zeroed at 50, and on the 0 at 50, my grouping was passable. Like it was decently locked in. Right now I'm just having, I guess, no luck whatsoever. Maybe that's just the effect of a 8.4-inch barrel for 5.56. So this is pretty bad. I just want to try, see how the A zone looks right in here. I'll put a dot there, and we're gonna try at 50 with 77 grain OTM, see how that feels. Because this is not faring well whatsoever. Do a triangle for the Illuminati. All right, and then this will confirm if my zero is just way off, or if we're good to go. Optics tight, so. Okay. All right, so it looks like it's definitely favoring the left. We'll try an adjustment. Grouping still very wild. We'll try that one more time. See if we can't get a better clump. See if we can't get a better grouping. Contact! Definitely a lot better, but not great. We're starting to get him in there. Problem is I'm going for this black triangle and my gun is just not finding it. We could chalk up some of the bad grouping to be 0, but even still, it's like that's pretty bad. Samir, how's the arms trade going?
Business is booming, Habibi. How's the new gig coming along?
Can't complain.
Last I recall, you were out of this game, doing some YouTube, I heard?
I can complain a little bit. You have something for me?
I do, my friend. It's in bag.
All right. I got something for you.
It's good. This is for you.
Samir, it was a pleasure. Always good doing business.
Absolutely, friend.
All right, so I want to do another kind of redemption. Jeez, dude, I'm getting just tore up by this fly. So I want to do another redemption run of seeing how this thing groups. I want to see how she does at, this is like roughly another 100 yards. We're not going to go for like the tight grouping that we tried earlier. We're just going to go on the silhouette. I'm going to go as A zone as my eye can wing it, and we'll see what we get. This is going to be with 77 grain OTMs. That should work. All right, let's go check out those results. God, dude, this fly's tearing me up. All right, so another attempt on a silhouette with the bag. This is the grouping I got. At this point, I still feel comfortable blaming the 8.4-inch barrel, I think it is, with 5.56, so very widespread. And that was with a bag this time. My point of aim was right about here, so. Sniper. When I get a gun in on the channel, I will say that there's a few different ways I kind of look at it. How fun is it? How practical is it? How affordable is it? What's like the logistics behind it? The gun's very affordable for what it is, considering what it's up against with other Krinks on the market. It's a very fun gun. The gun is a blast to shoot. RSOs hate him. Find out how this one gun tuber breaks the 1 round per minute rule. I think if you are someone that is well established with your defensive kit, if you know everything is dialed in where it should be, this could be a great addition to the collection for just having an all-around really fun gun to shoot. And it does have some practical offerings with it being so compact, right? That was one of the big reasons it's so popular with the regular 5.45 Krink, is that it is such a compact weapon. I mean, they made drop leg holsters for Soviet pilots to use with their Krink. So a very nice little package there. It's like that step above with the 5.56 round, as opposed to saying using a 9mm PDW, you could use a 5.56 PDW. Is it as optimal? No, but is it still very scary using a rifle round in this small of a package? Yes, I like that a lot. To me, that's big ups. The performance ballistically, I can't stress this enough, finding that the groupings was just, even using a bag, not very tight, and I was trying to be as dialed in and as accurate as I could. That's a big drawback, but it's understandable. So there's this weird thing, and I always talk about it with AKs on the channel. It feels like you have this aggro vibe to it where you can take on any threat. It just feels like this extra and confident booster, and the gun definitely has that nature to it, and it is very wieldy. As far as the gun is concerned, we did a few things with it as just setting it up. So I have on here a silencer. It's my can, actually. It's my can, guys. We're getting Wolverine. So this is a conjugal visit today, thanks to Mr. Silencer over at East Valley Tactical. Thanks, Eric. Wow, what a plug. So he's let me borrow the can to show it off suppressed, which is, I think, a very great setup for this gun. So even though we're running a 7.62 can on here, the gun still ran pretty quiet. Whenever I was using it today, I didn't really use ears. Typically, I'd recommend that you do use ears, even if you're using can just for longevity, but I wanted to see how it sounded and felt like. Didn't get too much gas in the face today running with it, and as we shot more, the silencer seemed to get a little bit quieter. So it did its job, and it was really fun to run suppressed in that regard. As far as the rest of the setup goes, just got a weapon light, got the aim point duty RDS, it's gonna be the 2 MOA. Instead of doing the SB Tactical triangle brace that came with the gun, I swapped it out for the Strike Industries brace, which I think I like a little bit more. The SB Tactical triangle brace, it does the job, it has the look, but it is one of the braces of all time. This to me feels a little bit better to use. Now the mags themselves I find very cool because these are gonna be the PSA mags, or the 5.56 mags. When PSA was like, hey, do you want the Krink for a video? I was like, yes, but I demand like 9 mags. So I don't have to keep reloading like 2 mags that they send or 1 mag that they send. So I was like, hey, help a brother out. And the mags, no malfunction with the mags. They worked pretty good today. Oh no, baby, what you doing? The only malfunctions we would get were if we were bump firing. The gun did pretty good, and we put a decent amount of rounds through it, and I have yet to have a hiccup. I will say that the gun is off the hook for certain things. Off the hook! Because I don't plan to use it as a duty gun, but if you do want to use it as a duty gun, there's certain things you have to consider. So with the 77 grain, the muzzle flash isn't terrible. Let's see how it is with some either 62 grain or 55 grain, one or the other. There she is. Now, compare it to the 77 grain again. Yeah, the 77 grain seems like the better idea for a short barrel. There it goes. Must have been some 55 grains in that mag. Another reason I love the short AKs is not just because of the wieldy practicality, but for how cool they really are in the pop culture sense as well. These things have showed up in so much pop culture throughout the years. PSA coming out with one that's pretty affordable can help scratch that pop culture gun itch that I know some of you have. Me being one of them, I always talk about it. I think it's a fun little thing. I think back to my younger days as a younger lad playing Call of Duty Black Ops. I loved to run the AKS-74U. I think it was B in that game. I could be off with the asterisk at end, but I'd run around with that gun set up, and it was a lot of fun. And I was like, man, one day, maybe one day I'll have this. And then I'd get my hands on Krinks later down the road, and finally, PSA sent me this, so it's kind of like, ah, the prophecy has been slightly fulfilled. All right, I'm gonna cheese a reload. Got 1 round in the chamber. I know it's gonna be empty. I'm gonna see how fast I can get it. Oh no, failed.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Even trying to game it, he botched it, dude. Guys will stop whatever they're doing just to look at a helicopter. A majestic beast soaring through the sky. Imagine showing that to a medieval peasant. So I will say one thing that was a downside is how hot the gun gets. It gets very hot very quick, especially with this JMAC rail. Out of all the AKs I've ever shot, this felt like it got the hottest the quickest. Even with gloves on, after putting around 270-ish rounds on one go, my hand, with gloves on, was having a hard time gripping that rail. It was so hot. I had a piece of 5.56 cord looped between the barrel and the gas block, and it melted off. Just getting hot. She's getting toasty. I melted the 5.56 cord off the barrel. That is something we may want to consider, but other than that, it's kind of expected with AKs, but I didn't expect it to get that hot. Like, I knew it was gonna get hot. It just got like, it was cooking. Now, another thing I thought of is that this opens up the door for a lot more blank fire use. Now, you're probably wondering, why does that matter? I'm thinking about a gun. Well, it's fun for training stuff, or it's fun for those guys that go out and do reenactments or milsim, where if you have a 5.56 AK that can look like a Krink, granted this one doesn't look as crinky as the other ones do, you could potentially allow for more options, as if you're like playing the Rust 4 or Op 4 guys with 5.56 blanks, and you get your blank fire adapter on the gun. So I think that is pretty cool. I like the options of that. It's a weird one. It's one you wouldn't expect, but nonetheless, it is a viable one. I think there's a lot of potential with the gun. I'm sure a bunch of other companies are gonna come out with more furniture now because there are options. If they haven't been already, I'm sure they have been. With how widespread that these little Krinks from PSA will become, I could see much more options popping up on the market, whether it's knockoffs Indigo parts, or it's from Sure Shot, or just any other brand out there that does AK manufacturing or aftermarket parts for AKs. The door and the floodgates are starting to open more and more as stuff like this becomes more accessible. To me, that is exciting. Can't do that. All right, so some of you guys are much more AK files than myself, and you can identify wear and tear patterns a lot easier. So I say we'll pull it out and try and get some B-roll for you guys to check out. So granted, there's about 1,000 rounds through it, so you can try and see if you can identify any sort of wear and tear better than I can. I'm just not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Looking cool is important, feeling cool even more important. That's why Americana Pipe Dream has you covered. They have a bunch of cool stuff on their website: night vision knives, manuals, MREs, clothing, of course. And they also have a YouTube channel. So go check out their channel in particular as well. They've been a big supporter of the channel, and I want to support them and their new endeavors with their YouTube channel. They're actually pretty funny guys. They make some pretty fun content, and it's also educational when it comes to milsurp stuff. So big thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Link for their YouTube channel will be in the description down below. I'll just speak from the heart. So I will say, as of late, there has been an increase in PSA videos from not just myself, but other YouTubers. And there's been the accusation of like, big PSA shilling. To me, that's not really the case. It's mainly because they keep coming out with really fun stuff, like the Jackal, the Krink, very affordable AR-15s, or the Saber line, or the M110 we have at home. They're coming out with a bunch of cool stuff, and to gun tubers, I think that is very exciting. Whenever something gets popular, people like to criticize it. Understandably so, right? I get it. I've done it before for other stuff too. But I will say that if other companies were doing this too, I would say, okay, that's just as cool. I want to check out what they got going on. And especially some of the stuff they teased at SHOT Show, it's like, oh my gosh, come on, you got like the MP7 at home too. So they are doing some fun stuff. I understand where the critics are coming from. I totally get it. But at the same time, I still think that what they are doing is exciting. Just because something is popular doesn't mean you have to hate it. But if you do, I get you, no worries. Do your thing. I just wanted to address that because I know it's gonna be in the comments down below, especially with how many PSA videos we have done as of late, so I get it, right? Another thing I will say is that the gun, the snappiness of it, the feel of it, felt very good. It felt like a very fast AK to run. It just felt like my follow-up shots were very quick, and running it and burning it down was not a problem. So if there's anything to take away from this video is just how fun the gun truly is, especially if you want to shoot very, very fast from close to medium range. The gun seems like it's going to excel in that aspect. Very fast follow-up shots, very easy to wield. It's a really good time. The rapscallions are advancing on me. I say nay.
Hello? Hello? I have to pee again. Hello? Hey guys, I have to pee again. Never mind. Actually, I'm good now. I heard you guys throwing rocks outside again. I need to,
Oh, okay. I already got fed by the other guy, I think. Gentle. Ah. Talking balaclava?
No, I killed that guy. I took his channel.
Well, then who are you?
Administrative results. Who are you?
I'm Sassle, LARP News Network. I thought you were a YouTuber. How's that going?
It's going pretty good. Can't complain.
Okay, well, then why are you here?
I guess I can complain a little bit.
All right, well, can you get me out of here? Because I've been in here for a really long time. I haven't seen outside in months.
Yeah, I'll get you out of here. All right, come on, buddy.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, ow, tight. You know, I was face down, ass up. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that, yeah. That did not look comfortable.
That's how they like me.
I enjoyed the gun thoroughly. It definitely didn't perform in the accuracy scenario, but as far as good times goes and having the feeling of a Krink, it's definitely in that ballpark, and it feels like a very good step in the right direction. Gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this video. I got nothing else for you as always. I'll catch you on the flip.
Well, I've got an ass. I got an LA.
You got an ass, buddy. Samir, how's the arms trade going?
Business is booming, habibi.
Get out of here. Bang.
It's a little tight, heavy, face down, ass up. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
That's how they like to, every night they put me like that, actually. It's kind of hard to sleep, I'll be honest with you.
Sure it is. Give me that. Down here. Boom, boom.